Coming up on Midco Sports tonight, weekend recaps of all the championships in our region's collegiate ranks, Summit League and Big Sky softball, Summit League track and field, and NSIC baseball. Then we'll take it to the dirt track, get the latest from River Cities Speedway over the weekend. And finally, the Fargo Force began the Clark Cup Finals on Friday and Saturday. We have highlights and post-game reaction from Fargo before the series heads to Youngstown. All of that plus much more. Midco Sports Tonight starts right now. Good evening, happy Monday everyone. I'm Kelly Stewart and this is Midco Sports Tonight. We had all sorts of championships for our collegiate teams in the region taking place over the weekend, but we'll start on the diamond in Fargo where the Summit League softball championships were held with the title game live right here on Midco SN between border rivals North Dakota State and South Dakota State. And yet again, a good boy being a very good boy, retrieving softballs at Ellig Sports Complex. Bottom of the first, second pitch of the game for NDSU's Jacqueline Surdick, but Abby Murphy drives it deep for the Jacks. That one is gone, and Murphy puts SDSU up 1-0 early on. But look at NDSU. They break this one wide open in the third inning. This is a homer by Vanessa Anderson with 2 on. Sends it over the wall in right center to bring Bree Beatty and Stephanie Soriano home as well. Still third inning, 5 batters later. NDSU's Danny Renner pinch hits. Smacks another 3-run homer for the Bison. So 1 inning, 2 3-run homers, NDSU up 6-1 after the third. Onto the Bison defense, specifically the 2-time Summit League Pitcher of the Year, Jacqueline Surdick. She gave up that homer in the first, but otherwise was nearly unhittable. Strikes out 12 SDSU hitters on the day, only gives up 3 total hits following a no-hitter the day prior. But then fast forward to the bottom of the 7th, SDSU's Dana Chavez grounds out. That gives NDSU their 5th consecutive Summit League tournament title, their 9th in the last 10 years, punching their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Anderson with a great day for the Bison, 1 of 2. She had a home run, 3 RBI, but Jacqueline Surdick solid as always, 7 innings pitched, only those 3 hits given up, and yes, strikes out 12. The Bison get the 6-1 win. Let's hear from them.
You know, one of the things I guess I thought of a little bit this morning is probably, I don't want to put certain people out there, but just Katie, you know, her story has been out there and she's never had a chance to play in a regional the last 2 years. Danny Renner just had a great weekend here and just been a great team player. And we're actually healthy this year. And I think it was something kind of fun to see what this team could do when they were healthy compared to last year. We had a lot of injuries.
It's something we really want to do every year. But I wouldn't say there's pressure and expectations because every year's a new year and we have to still grind and put in the work. Like, wake up at 6 a.m. in the fall, 3 days a week, 4 days a week.
So yeah, 6-1 the final score from Fargo. NDSU found out yesterday that they'll be heading south to play Mississippi State in the first game of the NCAA Tucson Regional at Arizona's Hillenbrand Stadium. That game is slated for 8 p.m. Central on Friday and will be live on ESPN2. Also, despite the loss for SDSU, for the first time in 22 years, South Dakota State softball is headed to the postseason. The Jackrabbits will play in the National Invitational Softball Championship. Yes, it's just like the NIT in basketball and also run by the same organization. So SDSU will play Colorado State in the first game of a double elimination regional that starts this Wednesday in Greeley, Colorado. Northern Colorado and Loyola Marymount are the 2 other teams in the regional. Well, after a loss in the opening game of the Big Sky softball tournament to Northern Colorado, UND's elimination game with Montana would get pushed back more than 5 hours on Friday due to rain. Then the Weber State grounds crew got things ready to go, and the Fighting Hawks took the field looking to their first Big Sky tourney win in school history. So to soggy Ogden, Utah we go. Kaylin Van Domelen was dealing in the circle on her way to a complete game with 5 Ks. She would get things going with the bat. Also in the 4th, she bloops a single and scores Taylor Nadler to put UND up 1-0 right there. Then later on, with runners on the corners, UND aggressive on the base paths, and Van Domelen tries to steal second, allowing Marina Marzolino to sneak home to extend the lead to 2. The Grizz would tie things up in the 5th Watch Marzolino with the effort, laying out to stop the shot up the middle, but the tying run would score as she can't beat the runner to second. Top of the 6th, Van Domelen again at the plate with the grounder to third. That brings home Nadler again, and UND has a 1-run lead. The Fighting Hawks would seal the deal as Van Domelen gets the pop out to center, gives UND the 3-2 win, their first ever in the Big Sky tournament history. So that win put UND into the next elimination game with Portland State, but heavy rains and unplayable field conditions pushed the winner's bracket game between Sac State and Northern Colorado to later Saturday afternoon. Midway through that game, it was announced that if Sac State won, they would be declared the tournament champion. So here's a statement from the Big Sky release. Inclement weather has caused the 2018 championship to fall behind schedule to a point where the complete tournament cannot be completed prior to the NCAA's Sunday evening deadline to submit an automatic qualifier. The Big Sky policy is that a team cannot play more than 2 games in one day, making it impossible to complete the tournament. Unfortunately, that's how UND's outstanding season comes to an end, a season where the Fighting Hawks set a school record with 26 wins. Kaylin Van Domelen also made the All-Big Sky tournament team. Well, heading to the Oval for more championship news from the weekend. The Summit League Track and Field Championships took place down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And history was made by 2 teams on the women's side. USD and NDSU tied with a final team score of 263 points to earn the league's co-champs title. This is South Dakota's first team title in outdoor track and field since joining the Summit League. Well, the Bison women extend their nation's best outdoor conference championship streak to 11 years. Interestingly enough, it all came down to the home stretch of the final event, the 4x400 meter relay. NDSU trailed USD by 4 points heading into the event, but the Bison won the race while USD took third, evening the final scores for the meet. On the men's side, it was NDSU taking home the title, their 9th consecutive outdoor team championship, and also their 10th in 11 years. The Bison men tallied 259 points for the meet to pull away from SDSU and USD on Saturday's final day of competition. Perhaps the most impressive performance of the day came from NDSU junior thrower Peyton Otterdahl, who won the conference shot put title and extended his NCAA lead, throwing 68 feet 9 1/4 inches. It also moves him up to 9th in the world this year in the event. So here's a look at the final team scores from the weekend down in Tulsa. Again, USD and NDSU finish as co-champs, each with those 263 points, followed up by Oral Roberts at 116 and SDSU at 111. Western Illinois, Omaha, and Fort Wayne followed from there. Then looking at the men's scores, the Dakota schools fared quite well. NDSU with those aforementioned 259 points to take the title. SDSU in second at 215.5 points, followed up by the Coyotes in third at 201.5 points. Next on the schedule for some of these Summit League athletes is the NCAA West Preliminary held in Sacramento, California from May 24th through the 26th. And the NCAA will announce first round qualifiers this week. Last but not least, the NSIC Baseball Championships were going on over the weekend right here in Sioux Falls, with the championship game between Augustana and Concordia St. Paul live Saturday right here on Midco SN. After Augie jumped out to a 2-1 lead in the first inning, Concordia would strike back in the top of the third, 2 out and a man on. Roch Whitaker takes Clay Collison deep into left field, and the Golden Bears are up by a score of 3-2. Concordia would go on to tally 3 more runs in the top half of the 4th inning, giving them a 6-2 advantage, but Augie was not out of this yet. Bottom of the 4th, and Riley Jensen coming up right here. 4th inning, Riley Jensen smacks a double into left center field. That would drive in a pair of runs. So Augie's now down just 6-4, but they are just getting started. Later in the 4th, Augie ties it up with Jordan Barth's single to left field. That brings in Michael Svozil from second base, and we are all knotted up at 6. Still in the 4th, Augie loads the bases. Concordia looks like they're going to get out of the inning, but a routine grounder is dropped, and 2 more Vikings cross the plate. We'll take another look at the error that would cost Concordia the lead and ultimately the game, as Augie hangs on to win this one by a final score of 10-9. Augustana, your 2018 Northern Sun Baseball champions, securing their first NCAA tournament berth. since 2014. As expected, the numbers were fairly similar across the board, both teams tallying 14 hits, but it was that one more costly error for Concordia St. Paul that sticks out. Augie played 5 different pitchers, led by Collison, who threw 4 strikeouts in 3.1 innings pitched. And as released yesterday, Augie earned the 5th seed in the Central Region and will take on 4th-seeded Pittsburgh State down in Magnolia, Arkansas at 10 a.m. this Thursday. St. Cloud State also was selected as an at-large bid to the Central Region tournament as the 6th seed. They'll take on 3rd-seeded Central Oklahoma this Thursday as well, but their game is at 8:30 p.m. Central. The Central Region is a double elimination tournament, and it goes through May 20th with the Division II NCAA World Series scheduled for May 26th through June 2nd in Cary, North Carolina. When we come back, Alex Heiner has your high school track recap from the weekend as we get closer to the state meets in North and South Dakota. You're watching Midco Sports Tonight.
Midco Sports Tonight, presented by Avera Orthopedics.